Tonight we have the man, the legend, Mr. Sid Bernstein, right here in Staten Island. We'll give him a little hand to Sid Bernstein coming down. Oh, we're going to start off with Sid Bernstein. You were born in New York City, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, Sid was born in New York City during the 20s and 30s, during like the Depression years.
Do we have to mention the leave it alone?
Well, your life wasn't a depression because you're the make it happen guy. You're like magic. Everything that Sid did in his life turned to gold. Everything, it seemed like you had a beautiful life, you know, and you had all these things happening, but they happened. Now, you're well known for bringing the Beatles to America, right? But before that, talk about how you got started.
I got started as an amateur promoter. It began with graduating from James Monroe High School in the Bronx. And I missed the people I graduated with. That's a lot of years ago.
Right.
And one day I looked up the yearbook of that year.
Yeah.
I think the year was it's so long ago that I forgot the year. I think it was about 1820.
1820.
And there were pictures of all the people I graduated with. And underneath their pictures were their addresses. Not their phone numbers, but their addresses. I missed them. I missed seeing them. And I thought about sending out a bunch of postcards.
Right.
What am I going to do with all these people? I lived in a 2-bedroom apartment in the East Bronx, and I decided maybe I'll do a dance in the gym at James Monroe High School. And this is where it all began.
Right.
And I sent out cards to all the people in the yearbook.
Right.
It might have been about 200 or 300. James Monroe was a big high school.
Right. Okay.
Might have been about 200 names or 300 names.
Right.
And what I did was I said, there's going to be a reunion dance. And I gave the date. And again, that's so long ago that I can't even remember the date.
And that's how the promotion
Also, somewhere in the 1800s.
That's how the promoting started. You were the man who started promoting.
Anyway,
So
I charged 10 cents for the ladies.
Right.
And I think it was a quarter for the guys, for the dance.
Right.
And we did the date. The gymnasium cost me $10 rental for the night.
Right.
And I think $5 for the security guy.
Cool.
In those years.
Yeah.
And we turned people away. And I wound up making about $150 or $200. Wow. I hadn't seen that money until well after the war, well after. It was a lot of money for a guy my age at that time. I was still in my teens. And wow, this is a good racket. I got to do this again. So I looked for the yearbook for the year before, did the same thing.
Right.
And again, turned people away.
Yeah.
And with so many people, the gym couldn't hold them all. And then I decided to go back 2 years back.
Right.
The year of, wasn't quite 1700, but I'm still in the 1800s.
Yeah.
And I did 2 yearbooks, but I chose what was then a wedding hall and people with organizations, the Hunts Point Palace, also in the East Bronx. And we must have pulled about 400 or 500 people in on those last 2 yearbooks. And people came from the later ones too.
You started off like small and then gradually just built it up, and you had the ideas, so you just kind of like.
And then I decided I want to be, at that time, I guess I was talking to some Englishman. He says, "You're an impresario." What the heck is that?
Right.
He says, "You're a real promoter in the true English sense of the word, impresario."
Yeah.
I says, "Oh, I'm not, huh? Okay." And I said, Sid Bernstein presents this dance at Hunts Point Palace. And we turned people away.
Wow.
Now, I lived in a very, very, at that time, Latin area, a lot of Latin people. And then I decided to do a band, a Latin band.
Right.
The name of the band was, the first band I hired, again for that ballroom,
Right.
was Tito Rodriguez.
Right.
I moved from Tito Rodriguez, again, turn-away audience.
Wow.
Now I was starting to feel like a pro.
Yeah.
I moved from that band to Machito, another great band of that era. And then I moved to the king of all of them, Tito Puente.
You know. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
And forget that. I had to find a place much bigger than. So I moved down to Midtown. And then in the 50s, I forgot what ballroom that was.
Wow.
And then from there
Yeah.
came my, after the Latin band, came my rock and roll era. Where I was starting to pick bands that were making it on on the rock programs, the pop, Cousin Brucey and Murray Decay.
Murray Decay. How about Alan Freed and all
people
that?
off Alan Freed. Later
Richie
on,
Valens
I went to the New York Paramount, and then later on to the Brooklyn Paramount.
Wow.
And then I said, my God, I got to pick a bigger venue, a bigger scene. So I went into Madison Square Garden.
There you go. You know what year that was around?
Geez, I forgot. However, let me go.
Remember the story. That's
let me go to the thing that
yeah. The garden.
that you talk about in the few times we met. And then I went to, after introducing a few English bands, I went to Shea Stadium.
Wow.
And I introduced, at Shea Stadium, the Beatles.
Right.
And I guess that's why I'm sitting here.
Yeah, yeah.
Had I not done that, I'd
might have been rock and roll,
I'd be doing ice cream cones and chocolate sodas and egg creams, and I'd be doing something other.
Right.
Because I do like egg creams and chocolate sodas.
And you like Alfonso's,
Well,
right?
at that time I didn't know about Alfonso's. If I knew about Alfonso's, I'd be buying.
You'd be living in Staten Island.
I'd be either living on Staten Island or coming up there with a truck and buying things wholesale, because I love that bakery.
Yeah, it's good.
Alfonso.
I always buy you the cookies. I bring you the cookies because if I
So
know
that's-
you like the cookies, I bring you the cookies.
Yeah,
You know?
you brought the cookies, right? And if one of your ladies here hadn't taken the box away from me,
Yeah.
I couldn't get behind this bash because the cookies were so good.
Yeah.
I kept asking Michelle and Karen, your assistants, would you pass the cookies back, please?
Yeah. Stop taking them away, right? They are good cookies.
So I'm able to get behind this desk, and on the way home, I'll probably finish them.
Yeah, that's okay.
They won't get back to my wife and kids, okay?